Tonight on Reporting Scotland, the time has finally come. Oasis arrive in Edinburgh. Around 70,000 fans are gathering at Murrayfield for the first of 3 huge reunion gigs in the capital.
The nostalgia, the atmosphere, the buzz around this place, it's absolutely spot on.
Like, this is the game changer stuff, man.
I'll have the latest from Murrayfield, where the gates are open and the countdown is on for the main event.
Also tonight, a teenager who lost his lower legs in a car crash condemns the drink driver at the wheel.
Like, I can never forgive him because he's not just wrecked my life, he's wrecked my family, my friends' life as well.
Adam Gobieski was a passenger in Aaron Patterson's car in Aberdeenshire. Today he admitted being over the limit. The podcast shedding new light on 90s vigilante Big Mags Haney, later exposed as the boss of a drug dealing operation in Stirling.
And coming up in the sport, Rangers boss Russell Martin says he won't lose sleep over his team selection being leaked early ahead of their Champions League qualifier.
Hello, I'm Laura Goodwin. Welcome to Friday's programme. For Oasis fans, the wait is most definitely over. 16 years since they last played Edinburgh, the band are back, playing 3 sold-out gigs at Murrayfield. 70,000 fans are expected to pack into the stadium every night. Stephen Godden has this report.
The moment they've been waiting for has nearly arrived. Oasis back together and back on stage in Edinburgh.
Oh, buzzing. I can't wait. It was like no sleep last night, wasn't it?
See the atmosphere's electric, honestly brilliant.
The nostalgia, the atmosphere, the buzz around the place, it's absolutely spot on.
This is the game changer stuff, man. Like, I've been watching Oasis all my life. That's the reason I learned guitar.
Our train was cancelled, roads were closed, but we still managed to get here.
3 nights at Murrayfield are the band's only Scottish dates on the reunion tour. Many of the 70,000 fans who'll pack into the stadium each night are well travelled.
My husband introduced me to them when we first met in 2000. So we were fans, and then we got married here 22 years ago, and we decided let's get the lottery and see if we get it. And if we do, we're going back to Scotland.
I never managed to see them when they were together.
We were young, so...
And they broke up right before the concert in Milan.
Yeah.
From early on, the obligatory headgear was on sale. Cashing in, a theme that continued during the afternoon sound check.
I'm trying to work out how you've mastered the trick of being in 2 places at once.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
They're lookalikes. Lookalikes over there.
Nostalgia is a big selling point. The crowds waited for the real thing. Their thirst was quenched at a pre-gig concert laid on in the next door ice rink. Top of the bill, Scottish tribute act, definitely Oasis.
We're always busy, but this has probably been the busiest year we've had, and even next year's looking like being even busier, because the demands just went insane, it's went through the roof.
I mean, no songs have just stood the test of time, and the thing is, it doesn't matter what you think of the band in terms of the characters and the attitude. The songs are just phenomenal.
Whether it's being signed after a gig at Glasgow's King Tut's or performing on the banks of Loch Lomond at the height of their powers, Scotland enjoys a prominent role in Oasis folklore.
There's a lot of good parenting taking place where our parents and grandparents have passed on the band to their children and grandchildren, but I think they were just a band who, I would argue, triggered the biggest musical revolution since the 60s. You know, they brought back drums, bass, guitar, vocals, songs, attitude. They brought back rock and roll.
The Oasis reunion has been a money spinner for the band and for the host city.
That's what everybody around here wants.
Yeah. Everybody! Hooray!
For the fans, a ticket is the only currency that matters.
And Stephen is with us now. A lot of very excited fans behind you. Stephen, how are things building?
Yeah, Laura, plenty of high spirits here at Murrayfield. I should say, I don't think it's out with the realms of possibility that in the next minute or so I might have some company, but I'll carry on regardless. Just step to the side here. I mean, normally this would be a busy street, traffic going down. Instead, you can see the procession of bucket hats making their way along towards the stadium. The gates opened around 5 o'clock, and ever since then, people have been making their way along. You can see them there, lots of high spirits. I mean, the one thing that struck me about the makeup of the crowd is, as well has been, you know, the fact it's been all different generations. There have been families here. A lot was made in the build-up that the crowd would be made up of middle-aged men, plenty of middle-aged men, but also lots of families, lots of people seeing Oasis for the first time, lots of people seeing Oasis for the 40th time. The bands have started, the support acts have started. We're expecting Oasis on stage at about 8:15. So really the enthusiasm, the excitement that has been building all day is only going to continue.
OK, to Stephen and friends, many thanks indeed. A promising young goalkeeper who lost his lower legs in a crash says he will never forgive the drink driver at the wheel. Adam Golbieski was a passenger in Aaron Patterson's car when he was badly injured in a crash in Macduff in Aberdeenshire in September last year. Today at the High Court in Aberdeen, Patterson admitted dangerous driving, being over the drink drive limit and driving without insurance. Louise Hosey reports.
Adam Golbieski loved being the goalkeeper for his junior football team Devonside.
Hold in that position.
But on September the 8th last year, a crash in a car driven by Aaron Patterson changed his life. Adam was severely injured along with 2 other passengers. Both his lower legs had to be amputated. At Aberdeen Sheriff Court today, 19-year-old Patterson admitted driving dangerously and at excessive speed on Union Road in Macduff. He also admitted being over the drink drive limit and having no insurance. Adam and his family were at the court today to see Patterson's guilty plea.
I can never forgive him because he's not just wrecked my life, he's wrecked my family, my friends' life as well, because we have to arrange things in advance to do things nowadays, which before you could just wake up, get out of bed and just go and live your normal life, but everything's got to be arranged within months before and weeks before and everything like that. So yeah, I just can't forgive him for what he's done.
It was anger today. It's totally changed Adam's future, and although it may not be for the worst, because I think he is going to prove himself, but it wasn't his dream, was it?
BBC Scotland News first spoke to Adam during his intensive rehabilitation in hospital. He was determined to walk out the doors before Christmas, and he did. In recent months, he's also found a new passion. He started skiing.
It's the last thing you expect when you wake up one morning to have no legs, but just got to keep going, and life's not over, so obviously keep going 100%, yeah.
Sheriff Graham Buchanan deferred sentence on Patterson until next month so that reports can be prepared. He was disqualified from driving and was granted bail. Louise Hosey, reporting Scotland, Aberdeen.
Some of the day's other stories now. The comedian and ex-Big Brother contestant Hardeep Singh Kohli has appeared in court on sex charges. The 56-year-old is accused of assaulting 3 women between April 2007 and December 2016 in Glasgow and Dumfries. One of the alleged incidents happened at BBC Scotland's headquarters at Pacific Quay in Glasgow. Mr. Kohli denies all the charges against him. The death of a man who was found injured in Aberdeen is now being treated as suspicious. 25-year-old Austin Ironside was discovered in Scheme Street last Sunday. He died on Tuesday. Mr. Ironside's family have paid tribute to him, saying he brought light into the lives of everyone who knew him. Police are carrying out extensive inquiries to establish the full circumstances surrounding his death. A doctor who used the names of dead patients to get painkillers for himself has been suspended from practicing medicine for a year. Dr. John Henderson held a senior post with NHS Lanarkshire. He used various names at 17 pharmacies across Glasgow and Lanarkshire between July 2021 and February 2022. The Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service ruled his fitness to practice was impaired. Henderson admitted fraud in a trial at Hamilton Sheriff Court last year but avoided a jail sentence. And power has been restored across the north of Scotland after Storm Floris damaged infrastructure on Monday. High winds brought trees down on power lines around parts of Moray, Aberdeenshire and the Highlands, leaving thousands without electricity. Energy company SSEN says all properties were reconnected this morning. And Amy is with us now. Amy, what is coming up on the 7?
Plenty of the programme as always, and we are getting very excited, like everyone I suppose, Laura, about the Oasis gigs kicking off tonight. We're going to be chatting to a super fan who's even done held a college masterclass for fans or to educate people on the band. So we'll be getting into that. Also, as the UK government announced plans to compensate people who live next to new electricity pylons, we're going to be speaking to one campaigner who says it doesn't take into consideration the impact on house prices and surrounding areas. So we're going to get into that as well.
OK, thank you very much, Amy. Tonight's main news again. Around 70,000 fans are gathering at Murrayfield tonight for the first of Oasis's 3 huge reunion gigs.
And still to come in the sport, it's been a memorable week for Scottish clubs in Europe after Hibs and Dundee United clinch big results away from home.
The Times newspaper has just published an extract of the much anticipated autobiography of the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. In it, she talks about the day police first knocked on the door in their investigation into SNP finances, and also about when she herself was arrested. Well, our reporter Katrina Renton is with us now. Katrina, as we said, this has just happened. What else does the article say?
Well, in the last half hour, the Times newspaper has published this extract from Nicola Sturgeon's long-awaited biography called Frankly. Now, the book is due to be published next week on the 14th of August, but we have this exclusive extract this evening that we've read in the Times. The piece is entitled Nicola Sturgeon, My Miscarriage, Sexuality and the Day I Was Arrested. It says in the new book that she speaks openly about some of the hardest moments of her life. Now, the article runs an excerpt about the 5th of April 2023, when she was woken up at 7 in the morning. She said she was half asleep. Her husband, Peter Murrell, had gone to answer the door. She said it was with a sense of utter disbelief that she realised the police were in her home, that they had a warrant to arrest her husband and search the house. She said over the coming days and weeks she felt like she had fallen into the plot of a dystopian novel. Now, she says on Sunday, the 11th of June, the day she was arrested and questioned by the police, that was the worst day of her life and was an experience she's not sure she will ever get over. Now, she told how she was in a bad state mentally, went to stay with a friend in the northeast of Scotland for a week after that had happened, terrified that the media would find her. Now, she goes on to recount the day of exoneration on the 20th of March 2025. Of course, that was the day her husband appeared in court, but she was told she would face no further action and said the feeling of relief was overwhelming.
And what other subjects are covered in the extract?
Well, it's a wide-ranging article, and she talks about the miscarriage that she had and how she found out that she was losing her baby and how much she realised that she wanted a family. She said that she regrets not being a mum to the baby that she called Isla, and for the rest of her life she says she will mourn her. She talks about rumours on social media that she had a secret relationship with a woman, and it was being openly talked about. Her family, friends, colleagues and neighbours were being asked about it. She said she has had long-term relationships with men for over 30 years, but has never considered her sexuality, including her own, to be binary. Moreover, she said sexual relationships should be private matters. And another issue that she talks about, I think we've all talked about over the years about Nicola's, or over the last year about Nicola Sturgeon, is about her passing her driving test and that being one of her proudest achievements at the age of 53.
OK, Katrina, thank you very much indeed for that. A new BBC podcast series will delve into the story of the notorious matriarch Big Mags Haney. Crime Next Door, the ballad of Big Mags, charts the rise and fall of Scotland's celebrity vigilante, who was later exposed as the boss of a drug dealing operation in Stirling. Miles Bonner has more.
Margaret Haney, known as Big Mags, rose to prominence in the 1990s after she led a campaign that removed a convicted paedophile from Stirling's Raploch estate.
So now the infantry have got to move in themselves and say enough's enough. We're the people and we're going to get justice, right reason or none.
Mags's vigilantism transformed her into a media personality.
people have got to go and get them out themselves one way or another.
Somebody else
Because we don't want them on our doorstep.
While Mags enjoyed the limelight, tip-offs into the Daily Record newsroom revealed she was the boss of a drug-dealing dynasty.
She was presented as a 16-stone matriarch of the family from hell. She was a public figure, a community leader, quite a big heroin dealer, and she was a gangster.
A police sting followed, and 4 members of the Haney clan were arrested for drug offences and tried in the High Court.
When the sentences were delivered, there were gasps in the dock.
Mags Haney was sentenced to 12 years. Daughter Diane, son Hugh and cousin Roseanne got 21 years among them. For the first time, Cassie, the daughter of Diane, has spoken to a BBC podcast about the impact of those convictions. She decided not to speak on camera.
I went to school the morning of their sentencing. It was, she's in prison, but, you'll see her soon. We always lived next door to my nana, and obviously my mum was my mum, so... Yeah, we just came home one day and they weren't there.
Multiple sources have told the BBC the Haneys were openly dealing long before they were busted. Simon McLean, a retired police officer who investigated the Haneys, explains why their drug operation wasn't shut down sooner.
The obvious answer is that she was informing crime families and organised crime leaders. I've met all of these people, and I've never met one that didn't talk to the police at some level.
Another police source confirmed that she would provide officers with information. Mags Haney died in 2013. 12 years on, Cassie believes her grandmother's legacy is more complex than was portrayed in the media.
2 things can be true at one time. You can be a drug dealer that has sold drugs that potentially killed people, but you could also still be a loving grandmother and a good person. But I still feel like we owe it to her to tell her story.
Miles Bonner, reporting Scotland.
And you can hear more on that in the new podcast, Crime Next Door, The Ballad of Big Mags on BBC Sounds. Right, time now for All Tonight Sport with Lewis. A wee bit of team news that's leaked early.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And we're also going to be talking about a great week in Europe, Laura, because some incredible results and Ballon d'Or nominations and everything. What a week it's been. Thanks very much, Laura. Yes, we'll get to Europe shortly, but we are starting tonight with Rangers boss Russell Martin, who says he will not overly stress about his team selection being leaked before Tuesday's Champions League qualifying win over Victoria Pilsen. After strong comments following their opening league draw with Motherwell, Rangers head coach dropped 4 players for Tuesday night's 3-0 victory in qualifying, including last season's standout midfielder Nico Raskin and the captain James Tavernier there. His team selection was widely known on social media hours before kick-off, but it's something that hasn't bothered the Ibrox boss.
I've always named a team really early when I've been a coach or manager, because then people don't waste energy and time wondering if they're in a team. We can actually work on certain things. The guys who are not playing can get extra work in. But it's the modern game. People are left out. They tell agents, they tell their friends and family. Then somehow it gets to you guys very quickly. But again, I choose to trust that no one does it to try and hurt us intentionally, so I can't really control anything else. I've said to the guys it's not ideal, but also I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not sure it changes the opposition's plan, finding out about the team 8 hours before they've done pretty much all of their work, I presume. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Now, it's just 3 months since Aberdeen beat Celtic in a penalty shootout at Hampden to lift the Scottish Cup, but manager Jimmy Tilleen here says their clash on Sunday is a whole different game. Aberdeen lost their opening match of the season on Monday night, going down 2-0 to Hearts at Tynecastle. Tilleen says his players will have to be at their best to beat the league champions.
I think it's a new game, a new season, and we believe in the things we have practiced on and try to evolve in our team. And they have some new players also, but still it's a clear identity what they want to do. Every game we have to arrive to a certain level of energy and effort to deserve a victory. And then we know Celtic's qualities and the capacity, so we have to be at our best to get the result we want.
It may only be half-time, but both Hibs and Dundee United came away with good results in the first legs of their Europa League conference qualifiers last night. Hibs go back to Easter Road with a 2-goal advantage over Partizan Belgrade, while United came from behind twice to draw 2-2 with Rapid Vienna. In Belgrade, Hibs striker Martin Boyle scored a brace after Partizan went down to 10 men. The Australia international scored his first just before half-time, popping up at the back post after a corner. Boyle's second came after the break from the spot. VAR intervened after he was wrestled to the ground inside the box. He converted it himself, taking him to 101 goals for the club.
I wanted it over and done with so I can kind of relax. My dad phoned me the other day and he thought I was trying too hard, and I probably was, just trying to chase it. So he told me to just play with a smile on my face like I always do and enjoy it. And thankfully I went out there tonight, so luckily I had him in my ear.
I've said this for many, many years now. Martin Boyle has constantly delivered for his football club. I think that's 101 goals now. So to do that shows you, how much of a threat he is. He demonstrated that again tonight.
Dundee United manager Jim Goodwin praised his side for a gutsy performance after they clawed their way back into the match twice in Vienna. Rapid scored the first just before the half hour, but United were level within 6 minutes. 2 summer signings combining as Zach Sapsford set up Max Waters for the equaliser. They were trailing again going into the break when Rapid scored their second, but Sapsford capped a good performance with a goal to make it 2-2 ahead of the return leg at Tannadice.
I think gutsy is the word that I would use probably to describe it. Real courage and real togetherness within the group to, just put their bodies on the line to try and take a positive result back to Dundee with us. We'll play better, undoubtedly. But I do think when you've got, that never say die attitude, and, it's very hard to beat a team that never gives up.
Now, these two teams are no strangers to each other, but after both were relegated from the Premiership last season, Ross County and St Johnstone are battling it out in the Championship. Jonathan Sutherland is in Dingwall for tonight's match.
After a great week for Scottish clubs in Europe and 2 Scottish players nominated for the Ballon d'Or, we continue the feel-good Friday football this evening with Ross County versus St Johnstone in the Championship. An early trial of strength for these two sides who were both relegated from the Premiership last season and 2 of the title favourites in the Championship this season. St Johnstone last weekend, they were 5-1 winners against Partick Thistle. They'd won their 4 League Cup matches before that. Not so good for Ross County out of the League Cup, and last weekend they were 2-0 up against Airdrieonians and got pegged back to 2-2. Who will come out on top? Join us for Sports Scene 7:30 on BBC Scotland and iPlayer.
And some golf now, and Grant Forrest is the clubhouse leader after the second round at the DP World Tour event at Trump International Links in Aberdeenshire. He hit 7 birdies, including this one on the 10th. He is now 7 under for the tournament. Elsewhere, Robert McIntyre is in action at the St Jude Championship in Memphis. He's currently tied for 13th on 4 under par in that PGA tournament that counts towards Ryder Cup qualification, of course. So that is going to be one of the highlights of the year for me, the Ryder Cup in New York. Looking forward to that in September. Let's hope he's there.
Well, the highlight for some people might be something a bit different, Lewis.
Very
but
sure.
Perhaps it'll be this, because a new prequel to the TV show Outlander will premiere this weekend. It focuses on the parents of the time-travelling heroes. Visit Scotland say they hope the new show will continue the Outlander effect, which is meant to boost in tourism as well as work for the screen industry. Our arts correspondent Pauline McLean reports.
Something happened to me. I was on my honeymoon in 1945.
It was more than a decade ago that an American cable channel first announced their plans to adapt Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series for television. The time-travelling romance was already a hit with readers across the globe.
So we thought this was a great opportunity. We started working with Sony and thinking about how we promote those locations and all the kind of various elements of Outlander in terms of the history, the romance, the sort of culture, heritage, that sort of real sort of landscapes and richness of Scotland. And it just became this huge, huge hit.
Fans started flocking to Scotland, not just to see the locations, but to learn more about the culture depicted. The craft of walking to shrink the Tweed, accompanied by Gaelic singing, has enjoyed international appeal since it featured in the opening episode.
We've witnessed so many people in floods of tears listening to us singing.
now.
The Americans.
Yes, especially from across the pond. Yes,
they get very emotional.
They get very emotional over the whole thing, and I think some of that is Outlander related as well, but it's also related to the fact that we're keeping the culture going.
Oh, I think it's very important, yes, of course, to keep it going. Oh, yes. But, well, a lot of us are getting old. But the young ones are coming up.
And that's what this prequel does, going back to the start of the Outlander story with a whole new chapter, released in the US today and the UK this weekend. Pauline McLean, reporting Scotland.
Right, time now for a look at the weather with Christopher. How is the weekend shaping up?
It's not too bad. It's going to be quite windy, actually, on Saturday. Lighter wind Sunday. It was windy today as well, but fairly cloudy at times. Great picture there from Sutherland, overlooking the Dornoch Fair. Thank you very much indeed, Laura. Good evening to you. Yes, we've had quite the day of it in terms of wind, particularly around the northwest coast. A lot of cloud, a few showers, a few brighter moments, but it was Lerwick that was the windy spot. 56 miles an hour was the gust recorded earlier this afternoon. All courtesy of this area of low pressure, which will send a cold front sweeping southwards overnight. That'll bring a spell of pretty heavy rain through the early hours, certainly for some. Initially this evening it's dry, a bit of late brightness, and then as we go overnight you can see that cold front, that rain working its way in across the Highlands and Islands, accompanied by strong to gale force winds, pretty squally conditions, temperatures overnight 11 or 12 Celsius. And that weather front, that rain still with us first thing tomorrow, but clearing away to the south fairly smartly, which means by afternoon, for most of the mainland, for most of the day, it's bright and blustery with a few showers, but in the far north, those gale force conditions continue with some really heavy downpours. So mid-afternoon, you can see it's a mixed picture. There'll be some sunshine, there'll be a few showers, still fairly brisk winds coming in from the west. Temperatures in the west, 16 or 17 degrees, in the east, up to around 20. And around the west and northwest coast, those winds really still very strong indeed, driving those showers in. Now, we know Oasis are playing tonight. They're also playing at Murrayfield tomorrow night, and the forecast for tomorrow night, mostly dry with some sunshine, lighter winds compared with today too. Elsewhere, tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, the winds easing down, the showers easing off, because as we approach the second half of the weekend, high pressure is with us. So it's largely dry and settled for Sunday, keeping this area of rain at bay. So Sunday, quite a different feel to things compared with Saturday. Some early mist and fog, but that will soon lift, and then it's dry with variable cloud and some sunshine, much lighter winds, as I mentioned, the chance of 1 or 2 very light showers, and temperatures on the up. So afternoon values around about 17 to 22 Celsius, once again warmest in the east and northeast. And then that rain is set to arrive as we go overnight Sunday into Monday. It's actually the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Dexter, bringing some pretty heavy rain as we go through towards the early hours of Monday, and it's still with us on Monday, but lifting its way northward. So it's a mixed picture, drying up from the south with a bit of brightness coming through, and temperatures on the rise. In fact, just turning a little bit humid, and a similar sort of picture really for Tuesday as well. 1 or 2 slow-moving showers, some sunshine, temperatures climbing higher, perhaps mid-20s come mid-afternoon. That's the forecast for now.
Thank you, Christopher. It doesn't look too bad at all. And that is where we leave you for the moment. Christopher and I will be here with your late news at around 10:30 tonight. Do join us then if you can. But until then, from everyone on the team, do enjoy the rest of your evening and the weekend when it comes. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.